How do I open the slide? Anga! Anga! Can you help me for a moment? The student have sent me the report and the slide about our house, the defect. Can you help me open the slide? Because I don't know how to open the slide. Come here. Okay, Dad. Oh, this one you just have to click the slide and download it. And it will play for you. Oh, okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, guys. Today, this video will present about the building defects that occur in this house. So, before I start, my name is Daniel Shahmi bin Aminuddin, and I would like to introduce you guys to my teammates.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nozalika Izzati binti Roshan.
My name is Muhammad Omar Iqmal bin Muhammad Zawawi.
Hi, I'm Nosaruna binti Zunirib.
Hi, my name is Hanani binti Muhammad Yunus.
So guys, there are my fellow teams. So now, Hanani will present about the building background of our site case. I hope you enjoy.
Hi everyone, so this is the house that was chosen by our group to be inspired for this assignment. So this house located at Kampung Kesusun Lawan Kuda Gopeng Perak, and the owner of this house is Mr. Muhammad Yunus and his family. There are 6 total of them. The building was built on year 2000 and they moved in the next year, which is 2001. So now let's move on to building plan. There are 13 spaces in this house, includes car space, balcony, 2 living area, 4 bedroom, 3 toilets and 1 kitchen. The materials used for roof tiles is concrete, and this house is using brick wall.
I'm gonna continue this presentation to tell you about the defect that we had found in our case study. Okay, the first defect is broken concrete pavement in front of the house. So this defect is possibly because of running by vehicle and getting too much load of it. For the repairing work, I suggest to head 8 meters square of the concrete using jackhammer and clean all the remaining concrete. And then add concrete mixture, which is grade 25 at the head area. After that, use the vibrating rammer to compact the concrete and make a level. And then the last step is clean all the debris. And then for the cost of repairing this defect is 1,886 ringgit. And then for the next defect is scaling on concrete pavement at the driveway, which is located near to the defect one just now. This defect is because of the poor mixture of concrete causing the scaling to appear. And then we can see the defect by the aggregate which from concrete mixture were exposed. And then for the remedial work for this defect is, the first one is ensure that the defect area is dry and use wire brush to remove loose particle on the surface. And then remove weak concrete structure using hammer or chisel. After that, patch the defect with suitable concrete mixture. And then for the last step is cure the concrete with liquid to improve the strength of the structure and let it to dry. After finish all the steps, clean all the debris. And then for the total cost of this defect is 121 ringgit. For the next defect, Zalika will continue this presentation.
Hi, I'm Zalika Izzati binti Roshan. My name is Nozaruna binti Zunirib.
Okay, the first defect is broken concrete pavement in front of the house. So this defect is possibly because of running by vehicle and getting too much load of it. For the repairing work, I suggest to head 8 meters square of the concrete using jackhammer and clean all the remaining concrete. And then add concrete mixture, which is grade 25
So thank you, Omar. I will continue to explain about another building defect that has been found at the external compound of this house. So as you can see in this picture, this defect called as dampness on slab at the front porch due to rainwater fell from the roof. The condition of this defect in major repair, while the priority is minor defect but can lead to serious defect if left unattended. So, as the remedies, I suggest to remove algae from the concrete surface using wire brush first and then apply a coat of vitamin emulsion coating to prevent moisture from penetrating into the concrete slab. So, the costing for this defect is only RM26.12. In addition, there are some defects of building fabric in this house. One of it is peeling of paint on column at the front porch. The column is peeling of paint due to exposed to heat and rain. The condition of this defect in minor repair, while the priority is minor defect but can lead to serious defect if left unattended. So, as the remedies, I suggest to scrap the paint off the column and make sure the column is dry before apply a layer of emulsion paint on the column. And lastly, repair the wall column with the same color as before. This defect remedies only cost for RM9.70. Next, Sabrina will explain more about another defect at building fabric.
The next defect is flaking of paint at the bottom of the exterior wall. This defect is located at porch, and the flaking is due to exposure to hot and damp weather. If no remedies is taken, the defect will get worse and reduce the aesthetic value. So, some remedial works that can be taken is: first, scrap the paint of the wall. Second, make sure the wall is dry. Third, apply a layer of emulsion paint on the wall. 4, repaint the wall with the same color as before. And lastly, clean all the debris. So, the total remedies cost for this defect is RM1.37. Next, the defect on apron, which is due to dampness on water leaking from the air conditioner, and it is causes due to improper installation of the discharge pipe. Later on, it will weaken the floor strength. The symptoms are mold growth and presence of water on the floor. The remedial works that need to be taken is: first, remove the algae from floor surface using brush. Second, measure the pipe that need to be installed, and lastly, install pipe at the connector to allow the water to be discharged in a nearby drain. And lastly, clean all the debris. So, the overall cost for this defect is RM283. And I will pass the next defect to be explained by Omar.
Sabrina, my name is Daniel. Omar already present just now. So guys, back to the topic. The next defect is on services, which is improper wiring. It is cause of poor workmanship as the wire is hanging out of the wire ducting. This defect is, if not been repaired, it will cause short circuit. We can see the symptom where the wire can be seen hanging on the roof. So for the remedies of this defect is: attach an electrical conduct at the roof frame, then tidy all the wire into the conduct neatly. And for the last one, don't forget to clear all the debris. And the cost to repair this defect is RM82.22. Okay guys, so let's go to the next services defect. So for the second defect on services is wastewater from sink were discharged straight to the floor trap. The possible causes of this defect is poor workmanship. We can see the symptom, the sink discharging wastewater straight to the floor trap. The remedies of this defect is detach the pipe from the sink and then drill a new pipeline in wall and install wastewater pipe from the sink to be discharged properly. After that, attach bottle trap with wastewater pipe under the sink. Then cover the drilled wall with concrete grade 25 and tile finishes. Lastly, clear all the debris. The total cost for this defect is RM47.72. So I think Hanani will explain to you guys the last services defects.
And for the last defect on services. This defect called improper wiring. This is because of poor workmanship made the wire to be exposed. And of course, the exposed wire made the aesthetic value of the house can reduce. So I suggest to drill around the wall in 1 inch depth. Cut and remove the unused wire and replaster back the hack area, and make sure to repaint back the wall with the same color code, and after it dry, clear all the debris. So the cost for this defect is only RM9.20. So that's it. After we calculated all 32 defects, we found out that the amount owner has to pay to rectify this house is RM3,922.12.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We miscalculate the total cost. So, the total cost is actually RM4,348.30. So Hanani, you can continue now.
Not include 7% of professional fees. So now let's go back to Sabrina.
Now I will explain about building condition assessment of this building. For exterior, there are some major and minor defects such as broken concrete, scaling, dampness on wall, crack on floor, and peeling of paint. For fabric and component, the defects are such peeling of paint on column, wall flaking, efflorescence, and this is due to high moisture contents. Others are such as sagging of ceiling board, leaking of roof gutter, blistering of external wall, and this is minor defect but can lead to serious defect if left unattended. Next, for the services, the defects are such improper wiring and mostly because of the poor workmanship and the malfunction due to all ages. And next, I will pass this to Zarika and she will explain about analysis of Paris.
So, thank you Sabrina for the explanation about building condition assessment. Next, I will continue to explain about the analysis of Paris. Based on this bar chart, it showed the most of defect in the property boundaries are minor defect, which were represented by green color with 72%. Minor defect means that the defected area is still in good condition and need minor repairing work. The second highest amount of defect found were yellow in color with 25%. It showed that the defected area need to be monitored regularly even though it can still function as it intended purpose. So, lastly, is major defect, which is represented by red color with 3%. It indicates that the defect area is no longer functional as its intended purpose and need to be attended as soon as possible as it affected the overall function of the building. So that's all about analysis of Paris. Next, Daniel will explain about indication plan of the defect.
So, for these 2 days of inspection, we found that 32 defects in this house were all 3 elements, which is fabric, services, and external. Most of the defects are found at external, and only few of it is in the house. So now, Omar will present to you guys the conclusion of this case study.
Alright, for the conclusion, based on our inspection for this house, the overall building rating of this building is fair. This is because the total defect that we had found is 32 and the total metric is 158. This making the total score of building condition assessment is 5. There is no serious damage in this house. However, due to poor workmanship, only one serious defect that affects the functionality of the services where it disturbs the water discharge from the sinks. The aesthetic of the house effect as there are defects such as efflorescence, peeling of paint, and also dampness. This defect just only need to be monitored and should be maintained as long as this defect does not disturb the function of the element of the building. Lastly, the building does not need a regular maintenance, only when there are blowback that will affect the occupant's movement. Thank you.
Thank you. Anga, go call the contractors. We must fix the defect now.